How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and yeah, sadly today it's just more of a kind of bug update video because I still haven't been able to get onto the mod menu and check things out yet. A lot of people have replied as to different things that are going on. I'm also going to do this power line maintenance thing. Of course, going to need a goddamn professional. Yeah, this is just more of an excuse really, just while I mention. Loads of people replied. I might just have to go through and like them all because there's been hundreds of replies. If I started replying, I'd still be replying now. But yeah, I appreciate everybody kind of letting me know what their experience have been, little workarounds possibly. Obviously, there's plenty of other people going through the comments that have figuring things out based off that. By the way, if you have the crane on the Dolphin, it doesn't work very well dropping the loaf on like that. Yeah, as to do with bugs, one I've found tonight, because I've been testing different things, when I was switching to the P12 a lot, it wouldn't let me use the crane at all. I don't know if this is just specific to now, but I don't really remember this happening before. What I had to do in the end was switch to the loaf, winch to the P12 and just disconnect it. I didn't winch it anywhere. And then it was working fine, so that was the first bug. Yeah, as for everything else, it's just kind of like, definitely the common thing is people losing their truck still. There's people that are saying it's only on the Yukon. I mean, that counts for the loaf. Normally, when I used to do this, by the way, I used to drop it from the back of the loaf, and it kind of hit the nose on the top of the Dolphin and flip its way into the sideboard. Now I've been trying to drop it just from like the new winch point at the top, and it doesn't work quite as well. Yeah, anyway, like most people are just having stuff going missing on Big Salmon Peak. I believe some people have had it happen on Flooded Foothills as well. And I believe even fewer people, but it still happened to, it appears, multiple people, have lost all trucks or everything that was left out of on the maps, whether it's like the base maps or the DLC maps. The loaf, it's time to bail, like a goddamn professional. Yeah, I mean, as far as this video goes, part of it is just kind of like, for some people that are obviously stressed out and pissed off that they've lost stuff and all sorts, which I get, it's just kind of reassuring you that you ain't the only one. It's happened to a hell of a lot of people, so the devs are certainly aware of it by now. I bet they've been absolutely bombarded with complaints and all sorts, which is kind of, yeah, rightly so. I mean, it was probably all the best of intentions to surprise release an update that adds console mods. I mean, I've been waiting for console mods for bloody ages, so in theory I appreciate them arriving, but in the practical application of it doing so, like, it's just nailed so many people's games. Again, thankfully, appreciate it, people letting me know before I updated, so I kind of got some prior warning, was able to recover most stuff. I lost trailers on Big Salmon Peak, but I'm not really bothered about trailers. I think most people wouldn't really care if it was just trailers they lost. The biggie is obviously trucks. Like, for a lot of people that haven't been using money glitches, that is taking them, you know, hours and hours and hours to grind for those trucks, and then now the game's just wiped them all out. Other things as well, as far as bugs go, I'm trying to think where to start. There's multiplayer isn't working for some people after mods. I believe for others it's like they go after they've downloaded mods, I think in particular, they go to load the game up and it's just kind of crashing and kicking them back out. I assume for some people probably blue screening them and sending them back to the main menu, and then they try and reload it all up again. Others have said that once they've downloaded like a bunch of mods, it's getting a lot more trollish and crashing a lot more. Others have said download like any more than 2 mods and it starts getting pretty iffy, so you probably want to try and stick to a minimum amount of mods at a time. Speaking of which though, there is another one which I don't know 100% if it's only exclusive to this truck, but there's a Super Vor on Grad which appears a lot of people have downloaded. I believe that thing might be responsible with the winch on it is something like minus 5 million, so when people have been buying it, it's actually been giving them 5 million or something. However, I think then when they sell that winch, or sell the truck with the winch on, it removes 5 million, so they're back to square one. But I also believe other people have been selling other trucks that are possibly not modded and all sorts, and it's been taking, say, another 5 million off them. And what somebody was saying, and again I'm trying to piece this together, but it's kind of, I don't know, some heads up is better than no heads up and just being completely in the dark. I assume with that Super Vor on Grad thing, it's designated as like an advanced medium winch, and what might be happening, since like it's been, the mod has been downloaded onto the game, it's kind of transferring the bug across to other things. So when you just sell a normal truck that you've got an advanced medium winch on, it might be kind of jumping that bug over to that, and then it's now taking 5 million off you for selling that, which I believe is how some people have ended up selling like a bunch of trucks, and then they've realised they're on like minus 40, 50, 60 million or whatever, which is obviously absurd amounts. Yeah, that might be how it's happened. Like because at first I was thinking, why are so many people selling a load of trucks? Obviously the mod menu, like you have to buy the mods. Again, I don't know yet because I can't get on the bloody thing, because I won't get this email in time. And the code expires after 15 minutes, by the way. That's one thing. Like, I emailed it tonight, was kind of waiting, reading through the comments, and then yeah, somebody said the code expires after 15 minutes. I don't know if that's 15 minutes after the email arrives or 15 minutes after they send it, but either way, I didn't get it tonight. And then when on mod.io and just tried to register to the actual site, it's still asking me for a code, so that didn't get me anywhere. But it was worth a go. And then yeah, the last time I sent an email, I didn't even get a code back. So again, it was like, by the time I've been going through the night, I've been testing a few different bits and bobs. I'm just going to leave it again tonight, otherwise I'm going to have to wait for another email when that eventually arrives, and then that might not work, and we're just back to square one. I'll try and get an early start tomorrow. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, it's affected a hell of a lot of people. Overall, like, different bugs for different people, obviously the worst being, like, losing everything. I mean, the devs are clearly, they have to be aware of it by now, so they're going to have to do something pretty substantial. I don't even know how they're going to get out of this one, because it's bad enough if the thing doesn't work, but the fact that it's, you know, stolen a load of people's trucks is, I don't know, they're going to have to, like, just give everyone a free 5 million quid so they can replace stuff or whatever. I don't really know. Just as well, quick thanks. A few people mentioned it, this power line maintenance thing. When you get here, it obviously asks you for the cargo, and like I was saying yesterday, there is no cargo, there was none there. You've got to crane it and actually drop it in that yellow square at the top, which is partly my fault, because when you actually read it, it says unload, but it's not really a common thing you've had to do in the game, so to be honest, I wasn't really paying attention, and then, yeah, I was just like, what the hell's going on? Normally you would get there, click square, and you can drop the stuff off. Another thing quickly, that's something that's actually useful I've been able to test tonight, is they've updated the forklift menu. It's called like fast something or other when you go down to it, and as you can see now, it changes like my gearbox in the bottom right for a little menu, and you have to hold L1, so when you're not pressing L1 you can drive along, press your accelerator and all stuff like that. Once you hold L1 down, you've got L2 and R2 that you can raise and lower the like the arm. You've got left and right on the left analog stick, which will extend or retract the arm, and then you've got square and triangle, which will kind of tilt the forks up and down. Yeah, I mean, it says it's some kind of fast menu thing. To be fair, it's a step in the right direction. It's still not the quickest, smoothest thing in the world. I'm just kind of in the habit of tapping L1 when I'm driving along to jump up the gears, so if I leave it in that menu, I just keep tapping L1, and yeah, so it is what it is. Like, you'll see now I use it a little bit, and I can drive forward, and now I'm activating the forks, so as far as that goes, it's, yeah, again, better than nothing. I just think overall the forklift, it's just a lot of fiddling and faffing around for not a lot of gain. The biggest thing really is like these sort of cargoes, when you pick them up, it'd really help if it would just slip in. That's definitely not what she said, but yeah, as you can see now, instead of like I'm trying to press the forks down to go underneath it, I drove forward, it just shoved that thing forward. I tried extending the arm and it just started pushing me backwards, so now I'm skipped to a different bit of footage where I was testing it like a few hours before. I just wasn't happy with the first attempt, so I kind of went back, spliced the two together for the bits that went well. Yeah, eventually I kind of just ramming the forks down into the ground as far as I can until I almost like lift the front of my forklift by like pressing down so hard into the ground, and then just drive forward and try and kind of scrape the forks underneath the cargo. But again, it's a little bit like, if I'm going to do all this just to load it onto a truck, it's a hell of a lot of effort compared to just craning it to a truck or driving into the cargo zone and it just automatically packs it. The other thing, once you actually start driving, is it's not secured very well onto the forks. Maybe in this situation, if I had the wider forks, it'd help a little bit, but those wider forks are pretty wide. I don't know actually, there might be a couple of cargoes where it's a little bit too wide. But yeah, you can see, even driving along, I get a little bit of bounce. I admit I have got the telehandler thing extended a little bit keenly, so I probably didn't need it all the way up there. Again, that's what she said. But yeah, it's just you can see again, it's a little bit of a kind of ram them forks underneath there and eventually get it, but it's still a lot of faffing around. I really don't see a whole lot of use for this forklift. Yeah, you can see now as I'm driving along, like, it's bouncing around a bit. They're not major stones or anything like that, but the thing's not hellishly rapid or anything. Again, I mean, I wasn't expecting this thing to be some absolute off-road cargo hauling machine, but a little jiggles. The twitchy steering really doesn't help the situation either, because it's four-wheel steering. It's quite violent when it reacts, and yeah, that doesn't help with the cargo tipping off. You can see now as well, slightly separate thing, but I just noticed that, I thought I'd leave it in. When I'm trying to drive forward, because I'm on the side of a hill, every time I drive forward, I'm kind of crabbing over to the left. I can't really help it. The tyres are kind of scooting along. Maybe the four-wheel steering isn't really helping, because it's like so many wheels are twisting and turning. It's kind of moved me around a little bit. But yeah, overall, it'd be nice if it was a little bit more planted and stayed where it is. I personally would rather it just had two-wheel steering. I do like the rear steer on quite a lot of things, like the Derry. It's pretty cool on Bruce. This thing's such a short, square thing anyway, and it's pretty, like, not sensitive steering. It kind of is, but it goes pretty far. It's pretty deep steering either way, so, yeah, you'll see in a second when I go to turn right, it just kind of snaps in, flicks me to the right, and the box falls off. Overall, though, I will say the off-roading capabilities of this, still pleasantly surprising, considering, yeah, what it is. I think they're going to be custom coded tyres on this, so they're not as good as like the Tatrin and stuff like that, but they seem to be better than average. Yeah, so as far as bugs go, I think that's just about everything covered. A lot of people have lost trucks and that. I honestly don't know, like, you're just probably going to have to either wait for a response from SnowRunner, or they're surely going to have to do some kind of, like, big patch, some kind of compensation. I mean, I don't know, give everyone a free Navistar or a free Western Star 49X. I know that's going to be the people that now bought it are going to be saying, well, hang on a minute. I mean, yeah, I don't know what they can do in this situation. They've kind of, I don't know, not helped themselves by releasing a broken patch. Yeah, as I said, be careful which mods you download. Try not to download too many at once. Keep an eye on when you're selling trucks, preferably just equip a stock winch just to be safe, even if it ain't happening. If you do notice though, keep an eye on your money. Make sure when you sell a truck you're gaining money and it's not dropping like 5 million a time or something. So yeah, that's about where we are at the minute. That's kind of all the little things I've heard about in the last day or so. Again, I'm still stuck on this because it won't send me the code, so one day I'll get to actually look at the mod browser and see what I can choose, let alone then get to the task of downloading it. I wasn't too bothered about kind of skipping it for another night, considering all the different things I've been hearing. Yeah, waiting another day just for them to sort some patches out, hopefully some hot fixes or whatever. I'm kind of alright to wait, but yeah, hopefully tomorrow I'll be back with an actual footage of me driving a mod around, even if it's just one of them, because I will be approaching with caution. I might just pick what I think is the best mod and then just go and drive around with that all night, and you know, just go from there really. Maybe introduce another one if it all feels patch free so far. I believe that Supervore on Grad they have removed. I can't remember if I mentioned it already. Yeah, but again, I don't know if that, like, they've removed it, but I don't know if people who already downloaded it still have access to it. So keep an eye out for that winch thing. Careful of like getting a free 5 million, because it might bite you 5 minutes later when you go to sell some of the stuff. But yeah, that's about it for today. Hopefully there is some good news at some point on the horizon. Just be careful with it, and yeah, that's about it for today. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.